Welcome to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts, and this is another Toxic Tuesday episode. The biggest news to talk about is obviously Bronwyn and Todd separating after 9 years together, and I don't think there's a prenup. Also, we're gonna get into the Married to Medicine episode, which was really good. Is marriage really worth the suffrage? Like, honestly, because Simone do not want to be married. And then we're also talking about Potomac. Was Angel evicted or was that just an Airbnb fluke? Because what is going on? Welcome to the pod. You're listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts, and welcome to another Toxic Tuesday episode. I almost moved my mic. I hope my intro wasn't bad. What is going on, you guys? You can tell from the title, we are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. We got some things to discuss. Today, I'm really focusing on some recaps. And we'll do some quick reality topics, but we're getting into the reality TV because I want to talk about Potomac and Married to Medicine. I'm going to talk actually a little bit about Watch Happens Live. I watched that. I want to give my thoughts on Below Deck. I've been watching Below Deck Med, which has been actually really good and entertaining. And I actually did watch Beverly Hills today. I don't know if I'm gonna talk about Beverly Hills. It was okay. It was a cool episode. I just love how on Twitter you get these random updates of review or ratings. And so the second episode came out and it's got a series high with the ratings. I'm like, but this is the second episode. The season high, it's the second episode. You would hope for it to go up. I don't know if I'd saved this. Ooh. I should have saved this, but it was basically, I did not save it. I saw it on Twitter. I'm going to see if I saved it. I don't think I did. Let me go to my photos really quick. I don't know why I did not screenshot this, but it was basically from Twitter about the ratings and stuff and everything that's been super popular, everything that's been doing pretty good on Bravo ranked. And Beverly Hills was literally for viewership was I think under Vanderpump Rules. I haven't watched the new Vanderpump Rules. Why don't we just cancel shows? Because I don't want to see the old people on Vanderpump, but I don't want to see these new people. I think Vanderpump Villa has really spoiled VPR for me because I'm just I don't believe that any of this is real. It seems like a fake universe. Let's get into the biggest news though. But I did notice Beverly Hills was low. And guess who was pretty high? Below Deck Med. Y'all, if you're not watching Below Deck Med, what are you doing? Below Deck Med is really good. This season's really good, and I'm really glad because I was very hesitant on watching it based on Below Deck's regular season. With the whole, what was her name that went on Love Island? I cannot remember her name. But she was kissing everyone on Below Deck, and she was just so nasty. And it was just mostly about the crew. It wasn't about the trips. We've gotten back to what Below Deck is about. It's about the trips. It's about the people that run these trips or whatever. But it looks like it's gotten back to what it is. I don't know if they were experimenting last season with Below Deck, but, and I mean the plain one with Captain Carey, it was bad. It was just bad with Frasier and them. It was super Instagram-y. I did not enjoy it. A lot of people did not enjoy it, but this Below Deck Med has been a really good season. So I'm going to share my thoughts on that. I don't know if you guys are watching Welcome to Derry. The season finale came on HBO Max. I 10 out of 10 recommend that if you want a new drama series. Welcome to Derry was really good to me and just really good. And I like it. The clown. I don't enjoy his presence. Scary AF. But out of all of the villains and stuff, I do enjoy it. I think it's a good villain. I like that whole universe. You know what I mean? Why does my Apple Watch literally keep like buzzing? So let's get straight into the biggest news of the weekend. I think this came in on Friday that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Bronwyn and Todd are officially separating after 9 years together. She's been on Salt Lake. This is her second season. So we've seen her marriage for 2 years, and it hasn't looked that amazing since she's been on. I'm not shocked. I said this in one of my earlier episodes. If you guys have listened, if you haven't listened, that it did seem as though she came on the show to get a divorce. Yeah, it was definitely giving a divorce. And I mean, hey, I'm not mad at it, but I'm just saying, like, it was hard for me to believe that you guys were ever in tune in the first place. So let's read the statement. This was an exclusive with People Magazine. There have been rumblings that they were going to be divorcing. So this isn't exactly news. I mean, there's, like I said, there's been rumblings. They said this was a mutual decision made with care and respect for one another. Bronwyn's representation with People says they asked for privacy during this time. I guess that was like the only thing. This is Bronwyn's representative confirming. And I guess that was the only statement. I thought there was more to it. What I will say about it is, like, we're seeing her, like, live time, like, say things on scene, and then she tries to act like she didn't say it. Like, we clearly know the marriage is not in a good place because she is so willing to open up the marriage. Like, if Todd's into that, he just needs to be honest. Like, if you want to do what you want to do, I can do what I want to do. Like, she's so open with him. Like, you know, if you want to go mess around, go mess around. Just let me know. And also, we saw last year, like, he's kind of snappy towards her, very cold. We even see this season, very cold. And it's crazy because someone tweeted, they were like, to imagine you going out or you being a respectable businessman and now you're going out this way, like in the Bravo universe. So yeah, I'm assuming things have not been good with them for a while. I'm waiting for more details, but I think it's going to be pretty mutual. I just think the marriage did not last. So they were married for 9 years. And I think his Emma was probably wanting someone younger. And yeah, they just have no chemistry. They have no chemistry. At first I was like, maybe he's just like doesn't want to be on TV. You know, maybe he doesn't want people in his business because he is cheating. You know, he's barely home. I don't know. There's no prenup though, you guys. So because of all of the public humiliation and him cheating on her, I definitely do think this was a business move. Had Bronwyn not been on Housewives, she would not have divorced Todd. I believe that because I think the first time he cheated, she would have left him if she was on Housewives. Now she has secured her place on Housewives. Bronwyn is iconic. Kristen Sirianna loves her. The designer fashion houses love her. Kay and I'm talking about Watch Women's Life. That was a funny episode. Kay and Dr. Simone both said they enjoyed her at BravoCon. She is a force to be reckoned with. I think I could see her really anchoring Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So I'm not shocked, and it's just so odd that this is coming out based on the last episode of Salt Lake City, where the ladies basically ask her, like, how are you in your place with Todd? Like, how's y'all's relationship doing? And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, basically trying to act like she didn't set that whole thing up. And she's like, oh, we're fine. But it's like, you just told us that you were kind of low-key opening up the relationship or open to opening it up. And now you're telling us everything's fine. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm committed to Todd. It's reminding me of Dr. Contessa. Like I said, we're going to get into Married to Medicine because that was an episode. But Dr. Contessa, she like drops these little eggs about her marriage. And then you be mad when the friends confront you or follow up. It reminds me of something in my life as well. I just don't like when people tell you information and then expect you not to follow up. I just don't like that. In other news, Kyle Cooke is doing massive damage control ahead of Summer House. Summer House isn't even premiering until February. This man saw that trailer come out and now is getting on the internet to clarify what that scene meant with Amanda talking about Kyle falling asleep at a fan's house. So this was an article from People. He's clarifying what actually happened. He said there's no excuse, and he shared this statement exclusively with People. He said there's no excuse for staying out as late as I did, but I want to be clear that I did not sleep at a fan's apartment. Cooke, 43. Let's just clear that up. This man is 43 years old. This man is 43 years old saying this. I was at an event that Amanda chose not to attend, which moved to a bar and then to an after party, which was at a house. I don't use anything to keep myself wired, so I think I ended up falling asleep on a couch, and suddenly it was almost 6 a.m. Do I regret the situation? Absolutely. But that's the truth and full extent of what happened. First of all, I don't know why he said I don't use anything to keep myself up or keep myself wired. I just think that's a weird thing to say in a statement. Like, just say, like, I don't know. It's kind of giving, do you? Do you keep something? Do you take something to keep yourself wired up? I don't know. That's just a weird thing to say in a statement. I don't know. I think whenever someone is doing damage control, it is so clear that they're in the wrong. Like our good sis, Monique Samuels. Monique Samuels is running and telling every single blog. I did post a TikTok on this. It is hitting some numbers. If you are new here, thank you so much for listening from that TikTok video. Make sure you listen to the breakdown of Candace and Monique, the breakdown of Bethany Frankel and Carol Radziwill. I break down Paige DeSorbo, Craig Conover, and I recently just did the Jersey Shore breakdown. Thanks for listening, because I had some new listeners from that TikTok video. So Monique is telling every single blog. She's walking it back. And my thing is with Monique, people are like, why are we still talking about this? Monique is talking about this. Monique is doing interviews saying she owes nothing to Candace. Okay, cool. I understand people asking you. Leave it at that. She's not, though. She's hopping on Instagram Live. She's going to her comment section and she's answering comments on purpose regarding Candace. So now we're bringing back up season 5, epic season, 2020, COVID, all up over again when this happened 5 years ago. I agree with everybody. This happened 5 years ago. I don't want to talk about it, but I knew this was going to happen. And when you are an entertainment journalist, when you are that plugged into entertainment, you have to be able to expect when these things come. It is on the tip of my tongue, the word. You have to expect it, though. And that's why I did a deep dive, because people are trying to rewrite history as though Monique didn't start on season 5. I do think Candace was starting on a new path. We're not talking about season 4. I'm talking about what really happened in their friendship that led up to that. Season 4, everything was hashed. I'm talking about season 5. Monique had a bone to pick. She had a bone to pick. And my thing is with Monique is like, you claim to be healed. You are past all of this trauma. And, you know, you realize your childhood stuff made you react like this, when I don't think it's that. I think you were just genuinely unhappy in your marriage, which you are now saying, but you're not really saying it. You're blaming 8-year-old you on the reason you beat up Candace. That doesn't read to me. You were upset at home. You were upset that these rumors were going around. But guess what? Candace had nothing to do with these rumors. Who had something to do with these rumors? The same girl you're trying to sit down with and have a whole conversation with and apologize, then now you feel bad for her kids because you started those rumors. Why doesn't Giselle feel bad for your kid that she was questioning the paternity? The standards are different. So I don't want people to be in my comment section on TikTok and defending Monique. You can defend her. I actually, like 80% of what people are saying in defense of Monique, I'm like, I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying in terms of rewriting history, that's what Monique is trying to do. And now she's trying to deny her friendship with Candace completely. She's like, we didn't have a friendship to begin. When it's like, or off the show, when it's like, yes, you did. And you were so quick to call her your little sister. Like, I just don't like the whole rewriting narratives, pretend amnesia. And then my thing is, if you are so above this, why are you deliberately answering comments about it? Like, you want to be in the mix so bad, and now you're back in it, and now you're like, well, I don't know anything to her. But it's just like, but you just started this. Am I in the Twilight Zone? I don't know. I don't know. I, Damage Control, Mr. Kyle Cooke and Monique Samuels. That is who's doing Damage Control. So, I think someone else is doing Damage Control because she realized she walked away this experience with nothing. And I think she wishes she never did it, is Chelley. Um which I spelled her name wrong. I totally forgot what was going on. Okay, so Chelley and Ace have broken up. Are you shocked? Don't be shocked. Pick your jaw from the floor. I'm not shocked. She gave an exclusive with Page Six. She said that Ace and I actually decided to part ways. It really was a tough decision, like for the both of us, and very hard to decide. But when you love someone, sometimes loving someone means letting go. So I think we just got to a decision that was for the best. I'm so exhausted from all of the Love Island stuff. Like, season 7 has exhausted me. I don't think I'll literally be ready to talk about Love Island until next summer. But in terms of the whole Chelley and Ace thing, am I shocked? No. I think that Chelley and Ace thought they were going to be the next Serena Cordell, even remotely. They just tried to be the next it couple. I think they were shocked when they were eliminated. I think they've been shocked ever since they were on the bottom, because they were at the top at one point. Ever since that challenge where she went off on Huda, like they just never were able to regain America's hearts. However, Alandria was, for some reason, because she was coupled up with Nick, and Alandria. I just think people took more to Alandria. I don't know if it's took. Yeah, they took more to Alandria and her kind spirit and soul. I think Alandria is a lot more genuine than Chelley. I think it was very telling when Ace and Chelley came out the villa. They were like, who are you rooting on winning? And they were like, Amaya, which I voted for Amaya, okay? Because I was just like, realistically, I really liked Amaya in the show. I still like Amaya. I didn't really care who she was with Brian. I didn't vote for Nick and Alandria, and I probably should have. I didn't expect them to get second place, but I just knew they were making it to the finals, and I liked Alandria, but I just don't know if I believed as much. But it's like, I should have just voted for the friendship couple, because it would have been better than, unfortunately, watching Amaya get her heart broken, which she seems fine now. She seems fine. She's thriving. But I felt bad with the whole Brian situation. But I thought it was weird how, like, your two closest friends didn't want you guys to win. And then, I don't know, I was just peeping a lot of the interviews and stuff, how, like, Alandria would always be hyping Chelley up. Chelley would never hype her up. I think Chelley was in secret competition with her. I think she's still floored that she's not getting nearly as much deals, gigs as Alandria is. And I think they were expecting it to die off. But Alandria's run after Love Island has been super successful, and one of the most successful. It has been mind-blowing. And yeah, I just feel like Chelley and Ace, and then he did the interview with Speedy, which I talked about in one of my earlier episodes. And, I agreed with some of the sentiments he was saying, but I was shocked that he was voicing this on such a public platform. And it's like, well, if you think this, then surely your girl Chelley thinks this. And then surely Chelley does not have Alandria's back as the way we all thought. Like, I can understand, like, having some reservations over Nick and Alandria. Still to this day, people do. I don't know if they're together or not, but I don't know if they ever really branded themselves as together. He's never done this grand gesture of like, oh my gosh. I think with Ace and Chelley, they always thought they were bigger than the program. We know for a fact Nick and Alandria support each other now. Is that romantically involved? We don't know, but it's like, at a certain point, I don't care. I want the best for both of them. Was I gagged when I both saw them at the MTV Awards? And I'll never forget Alandria's fashion debut in that red corset with like the what was it? It was like a lace, what do you call it with a wedding thing? I can't talk today, you guys. My vocabulary. Whatever that was, that outfit, her fashion debut ate down, and ever since she's been on a very good successful run. And I think Ace and Chelley thought they were bigger than the program because they're off of social media. They're not engaging. Their love is private, but your love didn't even last 6 months. So, and then also, guys, can we be honest? In what world does a 28-year-old woman and a 22 man work it out? I think he may have just turned 23. Yeah, he did in August. But in what world? I don't know, because I see a world where a 23-year-old woman and a 28-year-old man work it out. I don't know. Women mature faster. But as much as Ace likes to say he's this mature Leo King, he's very problematic. He's very attention seeking, and he has been shocked. People have not been calling his phone. And I think Chelley's been shocked too. I get a sense of entitlement with Chelley. I get a sense of, well, I should be there, not Alandria. She just gives me one of those people that don't want to see everyone eat. She was fine with Alandria in the villa as long as it was her as number one. Chelley is number one. Especially when the people are coming around to Chelley, The men loved her. She was fine as long as she was the black one that they wanted. And now we get out of it, and we learn that Alandria has actually been the star. I've always said it. I said, a girl like that with no waist, breast, amazing, cheekbones, amazing. She looks like the brat dolls I play with. She looked like Sasha. There's no way she's not going to be a hit when she gets out. I think that's going to be the real gag, and I was right. I know beauty, okay? Not to say Chelley's not beautiful, but I'm just saying the way I feel like Alandria's aura is just like unmatched. Like, I genuinely felt like Alandria's story resonated with so many people. It resonates with me, like her clocking into her office job and then like looking in the Zoom, like, what am I doing here? That's me daily. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I should be in a villa in Fiji. But Ace and Chelley have split. Ace has not said anything regarding it. I don't think they're going to reconcile. I'm interested to see if anything happens. The word on the street, and there are streets, as Andy is saying, the word on the street is that he dumped her, or I don't know. They said it's mutual, but I'm hearing that he already got some stuff lined up with another girl that looks more like his type. And also, guys, remember in the villa, like, whenever he should have coupled up with Chelley, he didn't couple up with her until the end. And my thing is, like, it didn't work on the outside. Like, y'all already knew each other, so is it really gonna work when you go on Love Island? I mean, what are the odds you both get selected for Love Island? Whether it's set up or not. But you already had her Instagram and her number, or did you? I don't know. That story's still fishy to me. But yeah, that's the tea on them. Some other thoughts. Nene Leakes is rumored to be joining Ultimate Road Girls Trip, which is going to be a spinoff of the Ultimate Girls Trip, but it's going to be a road trip. And I'm assuming that I was seeing something, it's going to be hosted as in, like, different iconic housewives from each city. So we got Atlanta, Beverly Hills, New Jersey, New York. I don't know. Are we doing New York? There's going to be iconic housewives, and these are specifically going to be OGs, and they're going to be hosting parties in their respective areas. I don't know if it's going to be in their homes, but it's going to be like that, and it's going to be like they're going to host a party, and I guess they're going to join the bus after to the next one, where the next housewife would host a party. I'm very intrigued by it, but I've been hearing that Nene is joining and that Kim Zolciak will be there as well. So that'll be fun. I don't know about other people. I'm hearing about Kyle Richards. I'm hearing about Luann de Lesseps, and I'm also hearing about Giselle Bryan. But other than that, I don't know really what's going to be going on. In other news, I did want to talk about, well, I guess that's for like all my reality topics. I did want to talk about Below Deck Med because I've been enjoying it, and then I'm going to get into our Potomac recap, a full Potomac recap, and then Married to Medicine and Watch Happens Live. But I've been enjoying Below Deck Med. So I mean, who is everybody? So I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I just binged it this weekend because I wanted to wait till a couple episodes are out, and now I'm upset because I am all caught up. Like I wasn't expecting to genuinely enjoy it and like binge it. I was like expecting like, okay, I'll start like with the first 6 episodes. There's like 11 episodes out. Another one come out tonight, but so we got Nate on there, Nathan as the bosun, Aisha, and I honestly don't really care for Aisha. I think she's so extra AF. But I don't know. This season, she seems pretty chill. She's not really annoying me as much as she normally does. And she hasn't talked about poo, because sometimes when she talks about poo, I'm just like, can we not? Like, it's not the gag you think it is. It's actually disgusting. She's not annoying me, though. Obviously, this is Captain Sandy's season. And then we have, for new people, we got Max back. When he had dipped out, I think it was like 2 seasons ago, he couldn't handle it. It was too much pressure and he was just over it. And it's looking like he might be gone soon because he's just making some dumb mistakes. And then we got Kathy, who was like a chief stew on her other boats, but she's coming in because they had to get rid of, or V transferred from being interior to exterior. So now, because the deck crew was looking a mess at first. He had to get rid of 2 people, and then V went over there, and then his friend, his good friend, who I'm blanking on. Is it Nathan? No, it's not Nathan. Oh my gosh, what is his name? I thought it was Nathan, but it's not. It's not Gary. What is this man's name? He is very fine, and he has really nice eyebrows. He has really nice eyebrows. Let me see. Below Deck Med season 10 cast. Because I can't remember. I cannot remember. They don't even use these. Okay, Below Deck Med season 10 cast. Who is it? Okay, Nathan and Josh, Kizzy, Victoria, Deckens, Christian, and Tessa. No, but they left. Guys, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's gonna drive me nuts so if I can't remember his name. Okay, so we got Kizzy. Okay, we got rid of those 2 people. But what is his friend's name? I can't find it. Nathan, friend, come on. Let me see. Why aren't I getting just a direct answer? Oh my gosh. Well, why did we literally just get a spoiler? Oh my goodness. Maybe I should look up Below Deck Med season 9 cast instead. Because I thought I wrote his name down. Because he's like obsessed with V and he's trying to act like he's not obsessed. But it's like, dude, you're clearly obsessed with her. I cannot remember Below Deck Med. Because his friend came on. Joe? I think it's Joe. They made Joe maybe it is Joe. I think it is. Okay, period. It is Joe. And of course, I just looked it up. Okay, sorry. I had to look that up. Okay, so these are the dynamics that are going on. And then we have like the chef or whatever, which I can't remember his name. I think it's Josh. But these are the dynamics. So we have Kizzy, who I think is just a very insecure person. So as soon as Kathy expressed any interest in Max, she's like gonna go make out with him. But before that, Kizzy had a boyfriend. Even though she was flirting with everything, she's just a hoe to me. Like, she just looked nasty. And then she was bragging at dinner how she left her last boat with 3 STDs. Like, I'm like, that is literally disgusting. She's very threatened by Kathy. You can tell she likes to be the center of attention. She's an attention seeker. She's an attention thought, whore, hoe, all of it, whatever you want to call it. And she's just very insecure. She's one of those girls that does not make good friends, and she's not a good girl. She's not a good girl, or she's not a girl's girl. And Aisha called her out. She's like, you're not a girl's girl. For you to kiss Max, you weren't even interested in him. You were probably interested in Joe. I will give her that. She had a flirty banner with him. And now you are like hugging up or trying to hook up with Nathan. But to be honest, like Nathan is still hung up on Gail from last season. Gail was like, I hate the name, but Gail was like literally the most prestigious, gorgeous thing he's ever seen. He still hung up on her. I think he cheated on her, but I'm pretty sure she's pregnant or she had his baby and they're together now, because that's what the spoiler was giving. He hasn't slept with anyone. Gail's the one that got away. So we're gonna see how that plays out. But I think even on social media, you can see Gail carried his kid, like she had his kid. So I don't know. Gail is the one that got away because he is still hung up on her, still talking about her. Max is obsessed with Kathy, even though he kissed Kizzy. And it's so crazy to see because Max is French, but Kathy is English. So Max is very full on, like a girl's dream, that would really want a relationship. He really wants to give everything to her. And he's like, I'm so interested in you and all of this stuff. Really laying it on thick. I don't think Kathy wants that though right now. I think she's okay with just like playing it cool and not doing too much. But he's really coming on thick. And then we have V and Joe, which I think is really interesting because Joe has told V. So V's situation is very interesting. And she's about to have to endure the 1-year anniversary of her boyfriend. Her boyfriend passed on her birthday. They were surfing. And that's another reason V was, I don't know if they were surfing. It was something in the water. That's another reason why V was on interior initially, because she didn't want to really be outside and interacting outside too much. But they did a test run because she has a lot of experience outside. And they did a test run or like a charter of her helping them out because they were short 2 people, and she was just so much happier outside. So she's actually coming up on the 1-year anniversary at this point in the show. Like I said, guys, sorry for the spoiler if you haven't watched, but definitely watch. She's coming up on the 1-year anniversary of her, man, her boyfriend that passed away on her birthday, which is extremely difficult. And so that's her story. And we have Joe coming on just for a good time, not a long time, right? However, Joe really found himself connected to V initially off the bat, and he told her that, like, don't expect much, I don't want to hurt you. So he was very upfront, and I think she was very upfront because she was really like, I'm going through my own trauma right now. So it's like, we can just have fun. But they really started to gravitate towards each other. And he's really fallen for her very fast. And he typically doesn't, which is why he's like shocked he is falling for her this fast. He's sending selfies with her to his mom. He's only had one serious girlfriend. And we know Joe was a real estate agent. I don't know, or that he was living in his car before he got into the deck stuff. But we didn't really know Joe's story, and I thought it was really interesting to find out. So he was a real estate agent. He had a bad deal go wrong. The guy basically did not pay, ended up stealing all the furniture from the listing. He got the keys and everything, didn't pay. I don't even know how you get to that point with no money. And Joe lost his job. He lost his job and he was fired, and then he had nowhere to live. He was with his girlfriend at the time. He couldn't really confide in her or couldn't count on her. Or from what I'm telling, he felt like he couldn't support her anymore. Like she deserved a lot more because he was living out of his car. He was just going through a very mental bad place. So that's where that comes from, is from him losing his real estate job unexpectedly, this man pulling a fast one over him. So he's basically been done with love. We saw him last season on Below Deck. He was just playing with the girl's heart. He didn't really take it serious. So it was really interesting to see him really fall for V. You could tell they like have an initial spark, and he even said in his confessional, and we're talking about a confessional, I think this is about his 5th confessional. He already talking about he got feelings for the girl. He just met her 3 days ago. So it looks like he falls fast. At this point in the series where I'm at, I don't think it's going to end well because it just looks like, you know, this death for her, the anniversary is really affecting her and she's emotionally shutting down, which, you know, we all deal differently. But it seems as though he's not going to handle it well. And the glimpse or the stuff we see, keep in mind, he's already promised her, I'm not looking elsewhere. It looks as though he is going to be looking elsewhere. And it looks like it's in Kizzy's V because she's just a hoe waiting for business to happen. I'm at this point now because he's trying to like pass the line of like flirting with a guest. She's just really thirsty. And she probably she needs therapy. She says it. She's like, there's something wrong with me because she was threatened by Kathy. She doesn't like it when men are not romantically interested in her or like pining for her. You can tell she's a lost soul, and her whole personality is hooking up and being with a man sexually, nothing else. And like I said, like the poor guy she came on to the boat with, she just was like, hey, I want to make out with someone, I'm sorry, like she can't wait for him, you know. And she's not a girl's girl. But that's really Below Deck Med. I really urge you guys to watch it because I think it's been really good, and I've been really tuned into it. I'm excited for the next episode, but now I got to take a break again because I want to be able to binge it. Below Deck's episodes I appreciate because it's typically like 18 episodes, hopefully. Maybe not 18. It used to be longer, but it's typically a longer season. So I might take a break again, recap in a couple of weeks once the season finale comes out. But yeah, in terms of Potomac, that's what I want to get into. Potomac. What an episode. I thought that was a really good episode. I thought it was a good Sunday night episodes because I thought Married to Medicine may have been a little better than Potomac. So let's do a little recap of what happened with Potomac. So Tia is having a derby thing. I don't know what's up with all these horses and polo that's happening in Potomac. This is our third event. We're watching the horses this season. I think... Is it the third event? Okay, maybe it's the second event, but I don't know. I think it's like the third. I just feel like this keeps happening. Tia, in her, you know, she works in real estate, so her colleagues, there was some event going on. She invites the girls, but she did disinvite Stacy because, you know, Stacy disinvited her at her Shio event. So, you know, Tia was feeling the type of way. She did disinvite her. She's like, you cannot come to this, whatever. I don't think I would have invited Stacy either after I've gotten thrown out and embarrassed myself. That's just me. And so now Ashley is deciding to spill the beans. So they're on the way to the event. Ashley kind of spills the beans to Jossie that, like, hey, because they were like, Stacy's a liar, you know, what else is new? You know, Tia felt wronged by her. So the girls are just talking about how much they don't really like Stacy or whatever. And so then Ashley essentially spills the beans to Jossie that Stacy was not going to go to her wedding unless it was filmed and unless Ashley and Wendy were going to go there. So that was the latest update. I was just waiting for Ashley, honestly, to spill the beans on that because I knew she could not keep her mouth shut. And Jossie's still waiting to see like concrete evidence of this situation and apparently like, you know, Stacy not wanting to go. It was a very weird, like fishy thing because it seemed as though like Stacy was not going to go to the wedding, but she did end up going to the wedding because she did find out cameras were going to be there. So it does seem a little sus that had happened. That's like the only thing I will really say looks a little fishy on Stacy's part. I did think that situation was weird. Either way, you know, Jossie's not jumping the gun because, you know, Stacy is her good friend and she just doesn't believe that she would do that. Ashley's also out for Angel. She's just so producing right now because nothing else is going on in Ashley's life. And I kind of thought this was a reach, but she was like telling Angel, like, perhaps at this event, you probably should like pull us to the side, try to get to know us because Angel really hasn't, you know, gotten together with any of the ladies, but I will say vice versa. Like, they haven't taken her out either, but clearly there's a lot going on for Angel. But Angel says, like, with all due time, I think Angel's kind of sick of, like, this is what I need to do to be in this group. I think she's genuinely shell-shocked that this is how it has happened. I don't think she was expecting it to be like this, but it just cracked me up how she was like, that'll come. I'm like, girl, it's episode 11. When is it gonna come? But obviously it's gonna come because she's gonna be back in Colorado, which we're gonna get into. And that was the biggest thing, was like 18 hours later, Angel is packing up her house. She's packing up her house, you guys, because she got this message from her Airbnb host. So she's been Airbnb-ing it up. This is not their home. This is a rented home. So she basically, Giselle called it for what it was. She rented the home for the show. Now, this isn't new in the Housewives era. Now, it is new for this to all happen while filming, coincidentally. Normally you have that stuff figured out, so it is crazy to me she didn't have that figured out, because like I said, Jessel has done this. She moved from Dallas to New York City to get casted on New York City. Meredith Marks is the biggest prime example. She rents vacation homes to film in Salt Lake City but lives in New York most of the time. And okay, those are the two I know. But it's like, it's not as, outlandish to me, right? What's outlandish to me is that she didn't have her dates together and she got caught up. That's what's most outlandish to me, is that she didn't have her dates together and she got caught up. Basically, the house she was at was pre-booked. Like Giselle was explaining, she thought filming was going to end at a certain time and it didn't, but she's playing it off as if they still had like some time there and she didn't know that she was getting kicked out or whatever, or like she's got kicked out of nowhere, which doesn't make sense to me because the time you're there. But I don't know if she had asked her like, hey, can we extend this? But the house was already booked. So the text message literally said, hi, Angel, we hope you are having a great stay. So this is literally an Airbnb host. I'm sending this a little in advance, but here's our checkout information for VP for your checkout at 12 p.m. on the 1st. We have loved having you. In the meantime, please feel free to reach out with anything you need. And like I said, in reality, it's not new. Like, a lot of housewives rent in places so they can film. It's not new, but it is new that she did not have this together. Normally, you would have this together as a housewife, so this wouldn't even have to come up on camera. So it is kind of embarrassing. So they have to pack up very fast and move to Colorado. And in my findings, which we're about to find out right now, how far is Colorado from DC? Because I just feel like from the DC area, because I just feel like for them to be going back and forth is crazy to me. So I need to double check, like literally right now. Yeah, I'm very confused how they can make this back and forth. They packed up and went back to Colorado. That is okay, let's look at the flight time. This is just a lot to me that they're acting like they're acting like they're in Washington by California, like not in the DMV area. So I guess it's a 4 to 4.5 hour flight with 2 kids, packing up all this stuff. I guess she was there for 6 months, but I don't know. They make it seem, she's like, we have to go back to Colorado. Like, it just all happened very fast. So basically Tia and Kay get there to kind of help her, assist her, or whatever. And Tia relays this information to Giselle, and Giselle essentially, puts her Giselle spin on it. And Tia is now like realizing maybe I shouldn't have told her that. But I will say Tia is the only one that's really offering compassion in this moment, because I even say Kay is not. I think Kay offers it in her confessionals, but she doesn't ever really defend Angel to the group. She kind of lets her friend just like hang out to dry. But Tia's like even when they call her, because Wendy and Giselle are hosting some broke down event, some potluck where you bring something, you bring the kids or whatever. Even when they're asking Angel, like, hey, like, where are you? How far are you? She's like, I guess she was 2 hours late. But I'm like, they didn't say that about Jossie, because Jossie came in right before Angel. So I just feel like they were picking on her, and she's driving, and they are kind of pestering. They're like, well, how far are you? We want to start. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't realize it was 2 hours, but even Bobby chimed in. He's like, we'll get there when we get there. And people are like saying, or Ashley's like, that's a little aggressive or whatever. Like, I get a nasty vibe from him. They've been moving, and I think Tia's the only one to be like, guys, like, they've been moving. Like, from DC to Colorado and they have kids, it's probably too much. She's like, and now we're going to this event. We got to show up to this event so y'all don't have more stuff to say about it. So it's like, Angel's kind of damned if she does, she's damned if she doesn't. Like, I just feel like it was not aggression. I just think he's kind of over it. I think he was plucked from Colorado because his girl wanted to do this because she heard this from from Kay, that this show was looking for people. Look, you could probably get on it. You're my good friend. I think you should come down and film. She's like, all right, I watched this show. I'm obsessed with it. Let's do it, Bobby. Bobby has been plucked from Colorado. Their home that they built from the ground up or renovated, whatever. It's beautiful. It's spectacular. Give me 13 of them. And now they're living in this Airbnb and living this life that really isn't real, just for filming purposes. So I think he was kind of frustrated. He's like, now y'all about to press me how far I am to the event. And honestly, Angel's already been telling him about the group. So he already has this he already has this concept of how this group operates. So he's probably not excited to hang out with these group of girls. And he's like, we will get here when we get here. I think he's a real man. And when you look at it, Ashley and Giselle are the only ones consistently without men that always have something to say about a man. That brings me to Tiermo showing up. And essentially Tiermo not engaging with them. And then Ashley and Giselle had the most to say on the after show. Like, they can't even imagine how Stacey and him get down, or Stacey's representative is more suited for him versus, her true self. And it's like, Ashley, you're the one that's really upset that you don't have a man and that you would probably date someone like Tiermo because it's like your golden white male ticket. And then Giselle was silenced. Were you silent or were you silenced? She was silenced and silent when she saw Tiermo come through. They were not expecting this man to show up to this event. They were all thinking it's pretend, just like TJ. Like, they were not expecting it. Giselle's face looked disgusted. She was shocked that he showed up to the event. And they were haters, and they're still hating in the after show. And I feel like Stacey's also someone, what? She does it, great. She doesn't, great. Like, they're just still going to talk about you. So I'm glad Stacey came. Wendy has, though, some tea on this Angel thing. I don't know if it's true. Her realtor, she has a realtor friend, and I guess a girl who is Angel has went up to this realtor, say, hey, I need a home that looks like it is over $50,000, but I only want to spend $2,000 to $3,000 a month on it. That's the big bomb. I mean, it's not a big bomb. But the bigger bomb that they're running with is that she's evicted. I don't think she was evicted. She rented an Airbnb. That's an Airbnb message. Hey, your checkout time is now. You got to get out of here. That's what that was. I don't think she was evicted. They still have their home in Colorado. I just think it's a bad look. It's like, dang, Angel, you can't get your days right? Like, you're literally letting all this happen right now? That sucks. That sucks. And yeah, so that was that. I want to talk about Kay's and Stacey's sit down. And then we're going to talk about Married to Medicine because I feel like the sit down was really necessary. There's clearly some tension. Kay admitted that she does not have any facts of what Stacey has done at this dinner. However, she has photos. So there was a photo that Bravo produced, the producers showed, of Stacey at dinner with Chris Samuels. So there's that out there. She was smiling and he was eating. There's that. She said that they were friends. Like, she said they never dated. That's that. My thing with Kay is, like, so you have no factual base. You have no facts, but you're just still so upset. And Stacey's like, why? I don't understand. Every time I see you, where is all the aggression coming from? And Kay's like, I don't want you to feel like aggressed every time you see me. But she's like, when I saw you at the Bloom Ball event, you were so mean to me. And then Stacey's like, man, these names, guys. She's like, but you have to remember the chronological order of events. And I agree. Because when the first episode, Kay was coming at her with all this energy, calling her a liar and stuff regarding the TJ stuff. Then the next event I happen to see you at is the Bloom Ball. You're right. I'm not your biggest fan. Why would I speak to you? And you're waving all in my face. Like, why would I speak to you? Like, I'm sorry. So I'm just like, now we're getting somewhere. And Kay had nothing to say to that because she's like, well, no, I was just pointing out that you weren't telling the truth about the TJ thing. But it's like, still, you came at me so aggressive there, and it was definitely an ambush with everyone. I didn't even know you felt a type of way. And now you want me to speak to you at the Bloom Ball event when it's like you're also being aggressive there. And Kay admits, so I'm glad we're having this aggressive talk now because, like I said in another one of my TikTok videos that have also done numbers as well recently, I'm talking about Kay's aggression and how she does think Stacey is on a smear campaign against her good name. There's nothing smeary about it. We all see how aggressive you are, but I'm glad we're having this conversation on camera because she makes it seem like this has came from nowhere. So it looks like Stacey does address this, but I will say the people that really do the most once a show is airing, they're all in the comments. Angel's all in the comments. You know, she's responding to Rihanna because Rihanna thinks she's boring. Oh, did I say that? Rihanna thinks she's boring. The singer, the myth, the legend. She thinks she's boring. She responded to Carlos King's podcast with one of those emojis with like the eye half over, but it was like open. It was like, you're kind of like, oop, feeding into it, but like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say anything. When Dustin Ross was reading Angel for how boring she is, which was a read, I was gaggling the whole time at work watching that. It was hilarious. But Rihanna responded. So Angel's been all in the comments. The people that do the most press and damage control after, after a show is airing or while the show is airing are the ones that have the most to answer for at the reunions. When you're in the comments, when you're trying to defend yourself, when you're trying to explain your point of view, i.e. Monique, i.e. Kay, i.e. Angel, you are going to have the most to answer for at the reunion. I don't think Monique's going to have a lot to answer for at the reunion, but I do think they are gearing up for that reunion. Andy actually tweeted today. They're gearing up for it. I do think when you are trying to control a narrative as the show is coming out to influence people, that you are the guilty party. Like, if I was a housewife, I would say nothing until the whole season is out. You know what? That is what I would do. If you really got to learn to play it. You really got to learn to play it. Even Ashley knows how to play it. She's not in the comments. You know what I mean? You just can't be in the comments. The Angel is in the comments, and Kay is in the comments defending that she's not aggressive. But I think she's aggressive, and I'd much rather see her mother. I want to talk about Married to Medicine because it was a really interesting episode. So it starts off with Contessa, and the thing about Contessa, I need to look up her sign. Let's look up Dr. Contessa's sign because I want to say she gives me water sign energy. What is it? Water, earth, fire. I'm a fire sign. What's the other one? Gosh, why am I forgetting? Water, earth. Is there only 3 signs? I think there's only 3. She gives me water. Dr. Contessa age. June 4th. That's a Cancer. Isn't that a freaking Cancer? June 4th. Zodiac sign. Oh, it's a Gemini. Oh my gosh, she does give me Gemini. Geminis are very, I'm sorry to the Geminis watching. I actually don't have an issue with Geminis, but they are very like wish-washy. I don't have an issue with them, but I understand that they are very like, what is going on? What is the Gemini? Is this a water sign? Air, that's the other element. Air. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 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 She gives me Gemini vibes. I can't lie. So it starts off with Dr. Contessa making it known that she's having a 40th birthday. I mean, a 50th birthday. This is the only birthday she's thrown for herself. So my perspective, she has been over that relationship with Scott and she thinks this is as good as it gets. and she compares herself to her single friends that she deems is unhappy because they are single. So she's like, I don't want to be unhappy and single, so I'd rather be married and miserable. And that's the real tea. That is the real tea. So she starts off talking about how she's throwing herself a birthday party and how Scott's not helping. And she's really going around to different girls. She's went around to Toy. She's kind of dropped this egg in her lap. She's going around to Brandy. She's dropped this egg in her lap. She's went around at her party like, yeah, I threw this party for myself. Like, it was 40,000. Like, she's going around clearly expressing how disappointed she is the fact that this man did not throw her a party. I don't know if, for me, I expect someone to throw me a party. Like, would it be nice? Yes, but I don't know if that is a deal breaker. This is clearly something that's been bothering her, though, that he's never thrown her a party or anything to that magnitude. So that's different. Has he not thrown you anything? It's giving he's never even thrown you anything, not even a ball, you know? She's going around to different people and planting these seeds. And this is where Dr. Heavenly minds her business, because she's been on the other end of, Dr. Simone saying something and then walking it back. I mean, Dr. Contessa saying something and then walking it back about her relationship. So we have that happening. Then we get a scene of, King in Quad. And it's a very interesting scene. So last season, King seemed very in love with Quad. This season, and the season just started, he seems a little bothered, a little short fused with her. But I think it's honestly because of the IVF process. Maybe Quad is not being the person that she was all the time in the relationship, fun and go lucky. It seems as though she may have an attitude with him. They were about to argue over food and leftovers. And you know what? I totally understand Quad, because I hate when people grab my leftovers as well and eat them. But I understand what she means. So they have that weird thing, and he's like, yeah, you need to kind of get yours. I just think he's walking on eggshells because she's going through IVF. Now people are going to look into this, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, he doesn't love her, he doesn't want kids. I do think it's a lot. You guys have to understand, it's a lot when a woman is going through IVF. I question, why are you going through IVF without the ring? Why are you doing all these shots and stuff to get pregnant? You don't even have a ring on your finger or engaged to save the date. Because this is a process to go in with someone, and y'all just started dating. He's clearly not comfortable in your home, and y'all just started dating, and you're doing IVF. I don't know if she's doing it, she's just preparing to freeze her eggs, or if they're trying to, conceive. I think they're trying to conceive, but that always goes a little backwards for me, because I'm like, you guys just started dating, and you're trying to conceive, and you're trying to have kids, but I don't know. It just didn't really track to me. But it does seem like her hormones may be the reason why he's like, I'm not really messing with you right now. Maybe they just was fighting before camera, and then they had to pick up cameras and act like everything was fine. And he like, I can't with this fake BS. Also, he's sick of the whole Simone stuff. But I don't know. There was some tension. There's been some shots. He made some shots at her wide back, which, if that was me, I would have an issue with that. Why are you like, I don't know. I think I would hate to see Quad in another relationship where the man is physically and verbally talking down to her. So, I don't know. So that was weird. So back to Contessa, because there's another scene. Contessa is just one of those people, and she's like, I'm going to tell you this, but I don't want to be held responsible for it later. Like, I'm going to let you in on this. Don't check on me in 3 business days, because I'm going to act like it didn't happen. And that's unfair as a friend. That is unfair to do that to someone that is your friend, to expect them not to remember the information you told them, and not for them to check in on you, and you take it so negatively and the wrong way, because she is taking it the wrong way. So like I said, she's clearly bothered that Scott did not help out. He did not have a surprise for her or anything at this party. His only goal was to show up. And you know what? I understand why Dr. Contessa is mad, but I also just don't understand the whole mindset of like, well, I'd rather just be married and miserable than single and happy. Because it's like, I don't know, just her kind of like throwing under the bus her friends. She's like, I have friends that are like single and they're not happy. Are they unhappy because they're single? Or are they just single and unhappy? Those are two different things, because it looks like you are miserable because you are married. And that's the real tea. I'm just saying. But Quad speaks facts about how like, so this gets brought up at the party. They're like, well, because you keep bringing it up, but she doesn't want to bring it up. And she's like, yeah. And then they're like, so are you upset that Scott didn't throw this for you? And then she was like, I love how you guys turn this into like what my husband can do for me and stuff or not. And this is something that continues to affect her throughout the rest of the episode. It's just like unraveling slowly. It's like, like a bomb exploding slowly, like slowly painful. And there's like death everywhere. Like that's all I can imagine in this situation. So Quad speaks facts about like, why does it, and it's something, I think it's something deeper about Black people, like Black community. There's this thing about like struggle, love. You have to struggle with someone to really love them. You know, you don't know marriage until you struggle with someone, which I understand to a certain point. But there's this old mantra, especially in the older Black community, that you gotta really go through it with somebody to be considered a marriage, a true marriage, or to be in a good position in a relationship with a man. And Quad don't believe in that. And I think a lot of the women in the group resent that with Quad, the fact that she chose to leave Dr. Greg, what was it? Dr. Greg, squeaky voice guy. I think there's a lot of upsetness that she left that man and chose not to struggle with him. And that is going to bring me to, we're gonna talk about Dr. Simone. That's gonna lead me exactly into that. Dr. Simone is having a conversation with her sons and Cecil about their financial spending. Michael spent $60,000, someone's salary, on a Chase credit card last year. And he is very entitled. He is already talking about the next car he wants and just about having no, and just basically saying, well, your money is my money. That's the conversation I got. I feel bad for any woman that ends up dating him because, or I feel bad for the women that are dating him because he gives me a spoiled brat. He thinks he's white and he's not white. He compares himself to rich white kids, as Frank Ocean would say. And it's a very big ick. If you are a woman looking to date Michael, that is an ick to me because, girl, you could do so much better. He's a mommy's boy. But honestly, Simone raised these mommy's boys. And she also raised a man that has no job. And you can see Simone there crack. She's like, the fact that what came out of Michael's mouth is, I have a mom that has a pretty good job. She should be able to afford law school and my new car and all the necessities I want. $60,000 on a Chase credit card is beyond me. And you have no job. Imagine being Dr. Simone. You are working to one day hit retirement, but you are also working to pay off the bills these boys in your house have literally wagered. Because what does Cecil do? He doesn't work. They say he's in real estate, clearly not good enough because the kids only talk about what someone's making. They are counting her check. When my mom gets paid, I'm going to ask for this. And it's really sad to see because now I've always said, out of all the women on, Married to Medicine, I've always said Dr. Simone was probably like one of my least favorite because I just always felt she was super bitter. And now I finally understand why she's bitter, because she's taking care of grown men. And then Cecil also leaves her out to dry. And now I think that is also why she has such an issue with Quad choosing herself, because Quad is the very few exception in the Black community that kind of did it herself. She's like, I don't need a doctor to do it. I think Simone kind of wishes Cecil would leave her for his friend Tammy. I think she kind of wishes they didn't meddle in their relationship at that reunion and she was able to divorce, because there we go. At the end of the episode, we are getting brought back up to, I don't want to be married. And that is brought up as a conversation again, and the ladies are shocked. I don't think Simone, but you can tell Simone is so miserable and bitter in her life. She hates it. And it was a very awkward watch Robin's live because her son Michael was there, and even pressured him like, now why would you think spending $60,000 and you not getting verbally assaulted by your mom would not happen? And Michael seemed to have had some humble pie. He seemed very embarrassed, but it was also very awkward because Simone, I don't know if she can't give out that much. I wouldn't be shocked at the reunion if her and Cecil aren't together, because I think Cecil's living off of her as well. I think she's tired of being a bank to these people. I don't think Cecil works. I don't think he works, and I think he relies on her money just as much. And it's actually disgusting as a man. Like, unless this is like, but he don't offer nothing else in any other areas. Okay, you want to be a house husband. What are you offering? Because you never have my back. You never stick up to me with the boys. And and Simone hit on it on Watch Women's Live, how she always feels like it's 3 against 1 and she's sick of it. And she the one paying the bills. So it's like, I don't really think Cecil is contributing in any way. I really don't. And I've always said that. I don't understand what he does, and I don't understand what Dr. Jackie's husband does. Like, what do y'all contribute to the table? But then it's also like, I don't understand what Toya does, because Toya does absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Quad actually had some jobs going, or like businesses, but Toya, I feel like she don't care if she don't see her husband, because she wants to keep up with the Joneses. She wants to live that life. But I don't know, something so like disgusting to me that like Dr. Cecil and like Jackie's husband, who I can't remember, the cheater, that they kind of like enjoy living off of off of their spouse's money. I don't think Dr. Jackie's husband does it as much though, because I think he's like a coach or something, and he actually just be on his stuff, or you know what I mean? Like, it seems like he's also busy. Like, he's not just waiting around. Every time we see Cecil, he is available. Him and his pores. Like, every time we see him, he's available. I think Simone's over it. Let's circle back. Okay. So Brandy. So that was kind of Watch Women's Live, guys. That was basically that. So Brandy's husband throws her a birthday dinner, everything's paid for. He's like, go ahead, do whatever you want. Contessa shows up very nasty. She's like, yeah, like, if Cecil would have done this, I would have been upset. So I'm kind of glad I took control of my party. She was just throwing shade at Brandy. Brandy was just like, well, because Brandy was just being thankful. She had FaceTimed him, or they had FaceTime, and she was like, just thanks so much for I mean, that's a big deal. This man is paying for dinner for like 10 women. Drink, eat whatever you want. Bills on me. I think that's a pretty good birthday gift. No one has to worry about spending any money when they sit down. The bill's on you. Okay. Thank you. Be grateful, as Brandy said. I like Brandy. But Contessa was very threatened by the fact that she was thanking her husband, and just like I appreciate it, and then Contessa made it this whole thing like, we make the same amount. Like, I don't know why I have to be so bothered by Cecil not throwing, by her husband not throwing, the party. Like, she makes it back to her or whatever. And it's really weird. She has this whole tantrum. She's pulling out her little coin purse, she's throwing a fit about, like, she's like, who do we have to pray to? Like, your husband or God or whatever, like saying like, I want to pray before I eat, but who am I praying to? Because she has such an issue with her thanking her husband, and she's really upset that her husband did not throw anything. Guys, I'm forgetting all the husbands' names except for Cecil, because Cecil like really made me upset. But yeah, Contessa's very bothered that Brandy's husband is throwing this. And she said, his name is Scott. She said she would have been underwhelmed if Scott did this, and she's glad she took control of her party. But you clearly aren't, because you keep talking about it. And yeah, I just think it'll be very interesting, going forward with the season, how she addresses this and how she addresses it at the reunion. And yeah, it's just very interesting on Married to Medicine to see these ladies' old school way of thinking. And Contessa almost justifies Scott's lack of actions. And then you have someone like Dr. Simone who's sick of it. She's like, and then Dr. Contessa's like, wait, and like, it's so heartbreaking to me to see like women justify men's actions. They're like, you're not going to get much better than this. You're not going to get this out of someone. Not everyone's perfect. Like, that is all true. But once you start saying we've been married for 29 years, like, maybe at, or like 19 years, maybe at like the 29th year, he'll finally listen. And then for Dr. Simone to be like, I can tell you this, I've been married for 29 years. He's not going to get it, because you set your marriage up to be what it is. So, and then like Contessa's also going around and Brandy saying, never be that girl that's like, I got it, because then they think you can do it all. Like, she's so projecting at this point. And so now Brandy is super grateful that her man did this, which I think is just enough. Like a nice little dinner, a nice little kiki, let's drink. Okay? You don't gotta tell me twice. I'm about to run that bill up, and I will be getting dessert as well. Let's drink and let's get dessert on your dime. How about that? And literally Dr. Contessa is just sitting there as a hater because she's projecting, because Scott didn't even do that. And then she was cooking the next day, throwing a brunch at her own will while Scott is smoking a cigar outside. That's her relationship. But as the Married to Medicine starts getting these younger women on here, and I hope this is the direction they go in. I do like Dr. Mimi. I do like Dr. Brandy. And then I like Dr. Angel. I just wish we see her more. So that tells me I don't think we're going to see her a lot, because she doesn't really talk much. We haven't seen her home. But we've seen kind of Dr. Brandy and Dr. Mimi, and then obviously Quad in this new relationship if it lasts. But as we get this new wave of of Married to Medicine, these new doctors coming in, and their standards are different. They don't have these fixed views of what a marriage is. And I think a lot of the older women on the cast are going to be really threatened. I even think Toya is a very good example of bordering between that traditional, non-traditional marriage in a Black community, because her and Eugene, they do take care of each other very well. She cooks, he cooks. He don't mind cooking. He enjoys cooking. He enjoys getting on the grill or like cooking his favorite dishes. That is a marriage that is very open. Like, he gonna work these hours because he wants to keep Toya. We can say what we want about it, but Eugene loves Toya to death, and you kind of want that. And you also, they have this openness. And even on Watch Women's Live, Dr. Simone said out of all of the couples, she never wants to sit, because they were like, who do you think is the best couple and who do you think is the worst couple? She said the best couple is probably Toya and Eugene. Now, their money issues, who handle money the best, that might be a different story, because I do think it's sus how you're always moving out every season into a different home. And he's working more now. He's barely home. But other than that, if I did line up all the couples, I feel like there's a mutual respect there of like a man that's willing to do anything to keep his woman, and a woman vice versa who is willing to do whatever to keep the purses coming. So I don't know. I just think it's sad that you have one group, but I would say Toya is part of the newer group of like, you know what? I don't have to take this. You know what I mean? There's plenty more where that came from. Toya's fine and she'll always be fine. But I also wonder how much of that element is, the more education you have, the more empowering job you have as a woman, especially a Black woman, the more undateable you become. So maybe these women like Dr. Simone, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Contessa really feel like they have to stay in these marriages because they don't think they're going to find elsewhere, because there's this thing that it's like the more degrees you have, the more unattractive you become. You're not this woman that this man can take care of. There's going to be some sort of push and pull in that relationship. And the men they end up getting with, they don't even have more money than y'all. Y'all making just as much or more than them. I'm specifically just talking about Dr. Contessa in that moment. You're making more money or the same amount, and you are accepting this from these men when I'm sure you could do better. But it's because they live in this old school way of thinking that, I have to suffer to keep my marriage because I'm looking around and my friends are still single. But I really question, are your friends unhappy because they are single, or are they just unhappy? Like, do the two even have to go together? Like, I don't know. I know there's women out there that really are, they get to a certain age, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm still single. I didn't see this happening. But Contessa, Simone, Jackie, they live in this old way of thinking. Even Heavenly. But I would even say with Heavenly, Damon lets her talk her crap. She talks. There's no repercussions for that. And it seems as though even Simone can talk that talk. I don't know why Simone is suffering. Simone, I beg thee, stop suffering. But when I look at Dr. Contessa, she comparing her stuff with Quad and King. She's like, I mean, at least I have a ring. I might not have a Rolls Royce or like a nice lavish gift like I thought I would get. But it's like, why am I getting brought into it? Because my man likes to spoil me. I don't know. It seems as though Contessa's realizing, as this new group of Married to Medicine women come in, that she wants a little more out of her relationship besides working together. And that's what I have on that. I talked about Watch Women's Live kind of in that episode. I don't think Andy likes Kay at all because he is just such a Stacey defender. But Oliver Sims, the fourth, was on there from TikTok. He does the most amazing impression videos, and it was amazing to see him behind the bar. So that was amazing to see. And yeah, it was a good episode. I kind of talked about that though, with the whole Simone segment and Michael being on there. And I just thought it was a funny episode because they were trying to clarify what streets they were talking about, and Dr. Heavenly now running for a congressional seat. And she said, that's the word on the street. And he was like, what street? And she was like, the political street. She's like, what streets are you talking about? And it was a funny episode. I was laughing a couple of times. It was just a good episode. I would definitely recommend you watch. Do not watch the Potomac after show because they were just so negative about her bringing TRMO. And it's like I said, you damned if you do, you're damned if you don't in Potomac. Like, she bringing the man around, and now y'all saying you don't see them getting sexy together and like doing all that stuff in the bedroom. But it's like, it's not for you to see. Well, who are you doing it with? Let's talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, actually. But thank you so much for listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. No episode this Friday. There will be one next Friday for Christmas. There will also be a Tuesday episode. I'm off next week, so everything will line up next week, but I will be able to say happy holidays. I think I'm going to continue with my regular programming through the new year because my schedule really hasn't changed. And yes, catch me on TikTok for all of my controversial opinions and the truths and the deep dives, because that's where I really talk a lot of crap and I don't really care. I'm gonna that's my New Year's resolution, start promoting again on YouTube and Instagram. It's just like the upload time on YouTube and Instagram is so annoying versus TikTok. Also follow me on my beauty TikTok, and yes, I will see you guys for the next Tuesday Toxic Tuesday episode. Until the next time.